Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to LinkedIn Tuesdays, the very first day of March 2022. We're very glad you're with us today. For those on Zoom, if you have any questions throughout the presentation, please just open up the Zoom chat window, the chat box, enter your questions there. For those watching on Facebook right now, thank you for joining us. If you have any questions, please put them in the comment field. I am monitoring that feed and we'll be sure to get those questions answered for you. You are welcome, for those on Zoom, if you'd like to network and put your contact information in the chat window so you can network with everybody else who's on the call. That is, you're welcome to do so. Please note this event is being recorded and is currently live on Facebook. The recording will be on the Career DFW Facebook page and the Career USA YouTube channel for others to view in the future. By participating in this event, you give consent for your name and picture to appear. Please note that any comments you put in the Zoom chat window will not appear in the recording. Well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jeff Morris. Back in 2008, I started a website called careerdfw.org, something to help the unemployed in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. In 2012, I started a second website, careerusa.org, to help those around the United States. I have written a book called What I've Learned About Your Job Search. It is available on Amazon. Since 2007, I've been facilitating and leading the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group. The group's been around since the late 1990s. I took it over in 2007, and I'll tell you about our upcoming program this Friday at the end of this session. And since 2017, I've been a member of the Practice Interview team. Practicing your interview skills are very, very important. Your resume and your LinkedIn profile will not get you a job. All it does is it gets you a phone call. How well you practice your interview skills is what's going to get you the job. So if you'd like to have more information on interviewing, please reach out to me and I'll tell you about the free practice interview team and the sessions that you can schedule for a free practice interview. Well, back when we started this, and it's amazing that it's almost been 2 years since we started doing this. I reached out to some LinkedIn experts who I knew and said, hey, would you like to do a seminar? And these people have offered to reach out, and once a month, they all offer their time and their knowledge as far as how to use LinkedIn. You know, LinkedIn is LinkedIn. The key to this is everybody approaches LinkedIn from a little bit different point of view. And so by mixing it up with different people every week, you hear different things. And you know, I know our presenter today, you know, he says, oh yeah, every month I'll go and I'll look at new things and I'll change things up. So even from month to month, he changes up his presentation. So today is, whoops, what happened here? I don't know what happened. Locke Alderson is our speaker today. Locke is a career consultant. He's been in recruiting for years and years and years. And Locke, I'll turn it over to you and let you go.
Okay, well, I'm going to try something a little bit different today. Jeff, have I got the screen sharing? Yes, it is.
Okay, yes.
Okay, let me bring up this presentation. This is a LinkedIn presentation that I have. Here we go. That basically talks about, well, let's go back to me a little bit first. That's me, Locke Alderson. That's a little bit of my bio. You can see my email address. We're going to deviate from this today. Jeff and I talked earlier today, and I've been playing around with LinkedIn for, I don't know, for at least 5 years in terms of presentations, picking it up from a guy named Dennis O'Hagan, who since passed away. And Dennis turned me onto that, and on to Jeff. We've known each other for since 2010 at least. And working in that area. But that's my bio. The presentation, if you want the whole slide deck, because I'm not going to cover all of it today, is available at lockealderson@gmail.com right here. Okay, so that's what we want to talk about. The reason that we want to go to LinkedIn, and these are the things we're going to touch on with LinkedIn today. Why do you want to use LinkedIn? We're going to take a look at your profile and more. You're going to take a look at your headline, which is basically like a movie marquee. The about section, which used to be called the summary. Open to work, what does that mean? How to use it? What's the benefit of it? The other thing on your profile that are important are your skills and endorsements. And then how do you go about optimizing your profile? Because one of the things about LinkedIn that you want to do, a vital part of job hunting, is to get found by others. And if you don't show up when somebody does a search, they're not going to contact you. They're not going to reach out to you with a phone call. So that's what we want to talk about. And Again, I'll show you a little bit how recruiters search and do things like that, and then we'll search for jobs. Take a look at what job alerts are and what they are all about, and then how you go about searching for people for networking, and then some to-do items for you at the end of the presentation. With that having been said, Jeff, I'm going to go back to the screen sharing again. How do I do that? And okay.
You may be able to just close out the PowerPoint presentation.
Okay,
Well, let's want to keep it back up there.
Okay.
I tell you what, I'll stop. Oh, there we go. Okay, so you can call up your.
Let's take a look for the moment. I'm going to close out me. And take a look at my LinkedIn profile, because that's what I want to take a look at today. So basically what you want to, this is a screen. Okay. What did I do, Jeff? I did something. Okay. So let's go to this and take.
Oops, went to your Gmail account. Hold on. You switched to a different window.
What did I do?
You don't want this window. I think you did Alt Tab or something. You switched your windows.
Well, let's just go to LinkedIn and do it that way. And we'll show you what LinkedIn is all about. And we'll take a look at my profile.
There we go.
Move this back up, because that's what I want to do with what we're looking at today. Close that down. But take a look at my profile, okay? When we click on that, it offers you the opportunity to do a couple things. One of the things is over here in privacy and settings. And you want to do that, and you want to take a look at your settings in terms of profile information, visibility. And these are some things that you want to go through and check. If you're profile visiting, go through this particular section and change these things. Take a look at all of these areas and go down this list of change items that are there. Okay, because you want your profile to be open to people. You want your contact information to be open to people. And we'll take a look at another thing that's there. Again, your profile the things that you see on when somebody's profile comes up. Okay. And you can take a look at the background photo that I have there. Again, we're going to take a look at some background photos. And anytime that you want to edit your profile, when you're looking at your profile, there's a little blue pencil here that you can click on. There's my headshot. Again, you want a good headshot about who you are, because if you don't have a headshot, you're not as likely to be looked at, somebody to look further at that. You have your headline here, which is kind of like a movie marquee. You want your name that you have there. That should be the name that you want to be called by. And below that is your headline. Like a movie marquee, if somebody doesn't see a name of a current movie, like Murder on the River Now, which my wife and I went and saw last weekend, again, they aren't going to go to that movie theater and look for that movie. So this is an area that you can put down job titles. You can do all kinds of things. This can be very simple, very concise, or it can be very detailed oriented. Notice there are a number of different job titles that I have here on mine. Again, the concise titles that you can have on something like that, or the kinds of jobs that you're looking for. It could be the industries that you're working in. Those are the different kinds of things that you're. The other thing that is important is the open to section. As I open that up, okay, finding a new job, recruiters now use this for hiring, and they can put a banner around that. And when you do that, it's finding a new job. What that does is give you on-site preferences, okay? And the workplace, it gives you the opportunity to list job titles. You can list up to 5 different job titles. You can workplace from hybrid, on-site or hybrid or remote. Gives you the opportunity to talk about that. And who can see your profile? Again, you can limit it to recruiters only, and then you don't have this green banner that's there, or you can do it to all LinkedIn members. I'm going to close that section, I hope. I'm going to discard that change that's right there. But that's the open to section that's there. These are some other sections that you can play around with. These are the ones that, the two that I have. The MEG group is a group that I'm working with, a networking group here in Dallas. And I am an Aggie, a graduate of Texas A&M. Also graduated from University of California, Berkeley with a master's degree. They have some other suggestions that you can do. You can add a license or certification. They can take a look at your dashboard. The dashboard used to be called dashboard, now your analytics. You notice three things that are here on that. You have profile views, you have the posting views, and search appearances. This 160 search appearances, so how many times have I appeared in a search appearance in the last 90 days? This 85 is how many times people have actually opened up my profile and taken a look at me. And one of the things I want to show about that, we'll take a look later about some of the things that you can do. Again, I'm not going to do that. My touch screen is pretty sensitive. The about section is another thing. This used to be called the summary. And again, you have 2,000 characters that you can play with. One thing I'll go back to on your headline, you have 210 characters that you get to play with up here. I've separated these by a pipe character. The pipe character, notice there's a blank space on either side. The pipe character is a shift key just above the enter key on your keyboard, and you can add that pipe character. If you don't add the space between, that word with a pipe character in the middle of it is not a searchable term, so it won't show up in any of the searches that people do. Again, the about section, you notice the first thing that I have on the about section is let's connect and my email address, okay? Because sometimes if you're not directly connected with people, when they open your contact information, you may not be able to see their phone number or their email address. Okay. Notice I've listed my street address as an email address. I did that on purpose because I do not wish to have email or mail sent to me via snail mail. But if that information is not there, or we're not directly connected as first degree connections, again, that information is not available to a recruiter or hiring managers when they connect. So if you're a second degree connection with somebody or a third degree, they cannot reach out to you. So it's important that you have that information in your about section. And again, I don't put my phone number, but I do encourage putting that. There are 2,000 characters that are there. So this is all that somebody sees as a thumbnail sketch when they open up your profile. What you're encouraging them to do is to click on the see more. There's a lot more information that you see there. Those are some of the things. These are some of the speaking engagements that I've had over the years. This section down here is the different types of recruiting I've done, okay? And as a speaker things. All of these things are searchable terms. The more times that they're there, the greater the likelihood is they will increase your positioning when somebody does a search in a given area. So that's important. But those are the kinds of things I've done. The area down here, you might notice that I've repeated all these things up here, and there's no comma between them. But I've repeated the words a number of times, so they'll increase the number of times those keywords show up in a search. The featured section is an area where you can display things like your reel, or if you have a portfolio that you want to show, a design engineer that's got that, or motion graphics. My son has got a reel, what he call a reel of his motion graphic designs and presentations. I have some of the presentations I've made over the years. You notice this arrow to show the others that I have. These are all the ones that I've given. Generally, these are in the last year that I've given these presentations. So somebody could click on this today, and it'll give you the whole slide deck that's there. This is the activity that I have, how many people I have. Well, one of the things about the, the activity level, one of the things that I'll show is this search appearances. If you click on this like this, it will show the number of times that I've appeared in search appearances. Okay. Well, it's too quick for me. We click on that again. I've appeared. These are the keywords that have been used in somebody's search. Recruiter, executive recruiter. In most cases, I'd say that 50% of the cases, people are looking for a recruiter to help them find a job. In other cases, companies or recruiters or hiring managers are looking for a recruiter to join them. This is where the companies, these are the companies where people, those doing the search have worked. So this may give you an idea, particularly in your field, of potential companies with the kind of work that you do. This is not to say that they have openings. For people like me, but they have the kind of work that you do. This particular one for Air Canada, that's with a candidate I worked with last week in coaching, who lives in Toronto. So this is where he worked, and he looked at my particular profile. But that's just something that you can see as a way to find people. Come on. On that. When you get down to the experience section, you notice there are a number of things that are there. This has my most recent experience. I'm working with a number of different things right at the moment. I still have a dormant corporation, Alderson and Associates. I'm in a networking group on Thursday mornings. I've been active with them. The Career Transition Workshop has been on hiatus since last June when we did a video production of it. And perhaps later this year, we'll get back to doing a live presentation up at Stonebar Community Church up in Frisco. I worked for Lee Heck Harrison for a couple of years after they purchased Mullen International, the outplacement firm that I happen to work with. But again, one of the things that you see, there's only a couple of lines that show up on that. We'll open the one for Lee Heck Harrison. This shows some of the other duties that I performed. And notice how this is done. I've broken this up so that it's usually not more than 4 or 5 lines at a time. Okay. I happen to include a reference that somebody sent to me and part of that feedback in there that it gives some highlight, gives it a chance for you to toot your own horn a little bit. But these are some of the subjects I covered when I was an outplacement consultant. Okay, so if we continue on down the list, you can take a look at the other experiences that I've had. And I want to show a couple of those because these are different ways that you can present this area. I was at Mullen International. These are the things that I did at Mullen International. They were purchased by Lee Heck Harrison. Prior to that, I was part of the practice interview team that Jeff mentioned earlier for about 1.5 years. And then I had some contract gigs that I worked with Everge, a company. Here's my experience at Oracle, my last full-time industry work, if you will. Notice how this line links down to a prior job. That's because Oracle Corporation acquired Siebel, and that's done automatically. These are the things that I included. Notice that there's about 4 lines there. I've given a couple of bulleted accomplishments underneath that to show what I've done as a recruiter with Oracle. And when I did retire, Amanda Gill was kind enough to send an email to me. It's time to say farewell. I included that kind of as a reference letter in there. Something else that you can do with that, with your profile. Again, those are the different types of things that I've been involved with. I was with E-Systems. And again, they were acquired by Raytheon. Those are not listed separately in this particular one. So we'll go back on and continue. The next section of your profile. Okay, you have a number of different skills. There's 50 different skills that you can have. If you don't select some skills, LinkedIn will select 3 for you. These are the ones that I happen to select. Now, if I want to go in and edit those and take not those 3, that those don't line up with what I'm looking for right now, I can go to the blue pencil. Come on. It's kind of slow today. And can choose those. Well, they've changed this up on LinkedIn again. So, but those are the 3 that I have. If I wanted to click on these, like executive search, something new. Those are people in the network that know me for executive search or recommended me, okay, for executive search. So if I want to do that, they have changed things up, so I'm glad we're doing it a little bit live today. If those are the ones that I happen to select. I can choose and perhaps drop one of these down here. No, it's not letting me do that, so I don't have to. I'm glad we got to this, but those are the different areas that I've selected in terms of skills, and you can select the ones that you want up at the top up there. I'll have to find out how to do that. I have a friend who now works at LinkedIn, and I'll ask her the next time I see her. Okay, those are the different skill areas, and that's what people search by. You can also take a skills quiz test, and that certification can be added to your profile as others. go on. Recommendations. It's also good if you have recommendations from people. As it turns out, this is the gentleman in Canada that I mentioned. He happened to give me a recommendation for our time last week. That's the part of the recommendations area. It's also good if you can get recommendations from people. Next area that I want to take a look at as we do that is to taking a look at that. If we were to do a job search, let's do a job search first. These are the job searches I was looking for, helping somebody that's a strategy management consultant. I started out with the word just strategy management consultant. And you notice on that particular job, were 2,435 jobs, but that's in Texas in the United States. Now, if I wanted to change that, I could do that by doing, notice that it has some artificial intelligence with that. The Austin metropolitan area will go from 2,435 to 1,100. But the other thing that you want to do anytime that you have a job posting is you want to check the date posted. Rather than get this way through this tab here, I'm going to go over here to the one that says all filters. And these are the filters that are available to you that will refine your searches. Notice that it says anytime, you always want to, when you're doing a search, you want to click the past week or the last 24 hours. The reason being, and it's going to show, it's going to take this 1,100, almost 1,200, down to about 400. The reason that you want to go with a week is the first response to a query, looking for a job or response to a job posting, is about 2 to 3 minutes. And there can be as many as 200 or 300 responses to a posting within the first hour. Notice this brought up a strategy consultant down in Austin. Okay, the description of the job is over here. There's something called an easy apply for that as well. Again, but it narrowed it down further. The other filters that you can choose, can take a look at. It's important to look at those. It's the last month, is the experience level. So somebody who is, say, an intern that's still in school, entry level is right out of school, associate is usually 1 to 5 years, mid-senior level could be anywhere from 4 to 15 years, director is up in the management ranks as is an executive. You can search by company, list all the companies of these 392 results. Where are those jobs? You know, Dice is a job board. Apple is a computer company and has applications in Austin. EY is Ernst & Young. Amazon Web Services, Cybercoders is a consulting firm. Dell Technologies and Amazon, Visa, Tech Partners are all some of the companies that are there. And you can do that and search that way as well. You have the option to go today, which is important, that you want on-site, or you go remote or hybrid, meaning a combination of remote and on-site. The easy apply button is something that you need to know about, which is something available on that. Okay, this just tells the location. Easy apply, if you click that button, it will give you, it may just send your profile, or it may give you the option to upload a resume. If it doesn't allow you to upload a resume, I do not recommend using easy apply. But this is the types of industries that are available in this 392. So you can filter it that way. The types of functions there it is, sales, business development. So if somebody is in say a business strategy consultant and they don't want to do selling, they would not click sales. They might check another box. One of the things that LinkedIn has picked up from Indeed.com, which has it, you can select jobs by salary level. So if I click this 140 and I click apply, it took the 392 down to 9 jobs. It's a good way to eliminate. Now, let's say I've made a mistake and I don't want to do that. there's a reset button over here, which what it's going to do, if you'll notice, it takes us back to our original search of strategy management in Austin, Texas. That's the way that you can do that. Now, once we've done that, there's a tab over here on the down button by jobs. It allows you to search for people. And you might ask, well, why would I want to look at people? Okay. Again, this defaults to the United States because I didn't put in a location. So let's say I want to look, again, limit it down to Texas, and it took us from 513,000 to 12,000 in the state of Texas. The reason that you want to take a look at people is, again, if you do a search for strategy management consultant and you do under people and you don't find yourself in the first 10 screens, that's about 100 thumbnail sketches like these. Again, you're not going to show up in a recruiter's search. You're not going to show up in a hiring manager's search. Okay. But if I want to show all filters again, and I want to choose a location, it's going to allow me to add a location. In this case, I'm going to put Austin. And I'm going to select the metropolitan area for Austin. And I'm going to take off the Texas and show results. Again, what that will do, there are about 3,100 people in the Austin metropolitan area that have strategy and management and consultant in their profiles. Now, what you can do by looking at those, and you notice this third out here. If I take a look at Brenda's, I mentioned about contact information. Let's see what Brenda has in her contact information. All I have is her profile. So I have no way of contacting Brenda unless I am a recruiter who has purchased a software license from LinkedIn.com, and there's two available, Recruiter Lite and Recruiter. Recruiter runs about $10,000 a seat for a year, and Recruiter Lite is about $5,000, which allows the recruiter to look at people, all the 760 million people in LinkedIn worldwide. But I can't contact her that way. So I could send her a message, but it's going to ask me try premium. Well, I didn't buy premium, so I have no way of contacting her. She doesn't have her contact information here. Let's take a look quickly and see if she has her contact information in her profile. Make it easy to contact her. Her about section is short. She's used 2 lines and she has 2,000 characters to play with there. All this tells us is that she went to Southwestern University in Georgetown and is working in Austin for Accenture. So that's what that tells me in her particular case. But you notice I don't, as a recruiter or hiring manager, if I'm not directly linked to her or using premium, I have no way of contacting her if she's the #1 candidate in my search. Okay, but those are the results that are there. But what you can do by looking at people again, somebody has extended me an invitation. Is Clyde on the call today? Okay, taking a look at that, you can take a look at their profiles. Her profile, we'll take another, let's go down to Sonia Alexander's. Okay. But Brenda's profile for a business strategy consultant, this is all that she has in that to get that top ranking in that, because she's the #1 in my search of about 600 people, or of about 1,000 people in 3,100 in Austin. That gives you an idea. So by taking some of the words that are in her profile, you can incorporate those in your profile if they apply. Okay, I'm back to that. Are there some questions that people have? I've given kind of an abbreviated presentation today. We can go and take a look at some of the others. As I say, if you want the full slide deck and recapture some of these, we'll be happy to do that.
Well, there was one question. Well, there was one question. William asked, why don't you use the easy apply button? Why don't you like that?
Well, the easy apply button, if you click it and it allows you to upload your resume, you can tailor the resume a little bit to the job that you're looking for. Might be the headline that you have. It might be some of the description. You can highlight some of the duties that line up with the requirements for that particular job. If it only takes your profile is like a snapshot of you. It's a static thing. It captures your image, your information at one point in time. And that may not directly apply to what the job is requiring.
What is your thought about the green banner open to work around your face?
Okay, if you're looking for a job, I would say you want to alert people, let as many people know in your network on LinkedIn to help you. It makes it easier for you to be found. And remember all those recruiters who have not subscribed to LinkedIn Premium, LinkedIn Recruiter, or LinkedIn Recruiter Lite. That makes it easier for you to find that you're looking. And recruiters like the low-hanging fruit. People that are looking for a job are generally the ones that are going to get the first call because it's an easy one. People are not going to reject it. Recruiters are very sensitive people. You might not think so, but recruiters don't like to hear the word no. I know when I first started recruiting and had my own recruiting firm, I was told that you're going to make 5,000 calls to get 25 placements a year. That means that out of the 5,000 calls, 4,000 of them are going to say no to you. And if you're like I am, I don't like to be told no that many times. Okay, so that's the reason that you want to, on easy apply, you want to make it easy for the person that's looking at your profile to know, hey, this is a candidate who might seriously consider an opportunity. The best example I can think of that, when my wife was called, she was an executive assistant to a pastor here at a church in Dallas. She got a call. Did she know anybody would be interested in a bookkeeping job? She was at a relatively small church, and that was a relatively large church that was looking for a bookkeeper. And she originally said no, she didn't know anybody, but she got to thinking about it over the weekend, called the person back on Monday. She had the job by Friday. So again, recruiters like the easy hanging fruit. People are going to say yes. They don't like to be told no.
Right. SK asks, how do I add multiple roles at the same employer?
Okay. Again, let's go back to my profile. Okay, you see that, Jeff? Is it showing up?
Not yet, no.
Okay. I've got to go back to shared screen. Where am I, Jeff? I'm sorry, the question was, again?
How do I add multiple roles at the same company? Doesn't LinkedIn just automatically know that if it's...
Well, what I was going to try and show, I can't. Is my profile up now, Jeff?
No, we still just see everybody.
Okay. I have to. What I was going to say, the profile that you can have, I was going to try and show my profile. One of the things that I've got on my profile is to have multiple jobs at the same time. Yes, you can list them. I would bullet them at the same time that these were simultaneous, okay? But 2 or 3 lines with a description, the same dates, okay? But 2 or 3 lines and separate them by that. You don't want a paragraph that's 6 or 8 lines long because they lose the continuity of that. But that's a way that you can show at the same time. But right now, if you were to look at my profile, the first 5 items on my profile are simultaneous. I hold them all at the same time.
I'm going to pop that up here on my screen. Let's see here.
All right, I could have lost that, Jeff. We tried new something today, so.
Yeah, all right, so yeah, here's your profile. So yeah, so here's job 1, job 2, job 3, job 4, job 5 are all.
Go on down to the, okay, to the Oracle.
Right here, Oracle.
Okay, you notice this line out here at the time. Well, what I would do if you were trying to show multiple jobs is to have the first paragraph and then another paragraph with another job title, and that they're at the same times. And you can say simultaneously. But again, you want 3 or 4 lines is about the max that you want to have. maybe one or two accomplishments. If you notice, they're on my profile. It says twice selected as recruiter of the quarter, selected from among 50 recruiters for the annual conference of the consulting organization that I supported. That consulting organization had 30,000 people around the world.
So I think what happens is when you put in your job title and then the date, and as long as the date is right after the date of the prior job, it will automatically link, as long as you use the same company name that you're applying for the same job, it will link it. It will do that for you.
If it's with the same company and there's a progression in that. I think the question was, how do I list that for similar jobs held simultaneously at the same time? And
Well,
again,
she wanted to know how to do that. How do I add multiple roles at the same? How do I add multiple roles at the same employer? I'm assuming SK. Do you want to define more what you're looking for? You can unmute your mic if you like. Hold down the space bar.
Hey, yeah, it's the same employer, but multiple roles at the same employer over 18 years.
Well, you notice how it is on my experience at Oracle, it automatically linked those together.
Oops.
Now that was happening because Oracle had changed names, had purchased Siebel, the company I'd worked with previously. Okay, in the case that you're talking about, it may not be that you want to keep the description short, if you will, with the name, the title of the job.
Now I'm looking here because here's Ruth Lipsky. Here's when she was at Transamerica. So 1, 2, 3 different jobs that she had: 2001 to 2008, 2008 to 2011, 2011
Exactly.
to 2016.
The way that you link them together like that is you put the dates that you were doing those jobs. You have to add the dates. Okay.
And you make sure you pick the same company, and it will automatically link them together. Should automatically link them together for you.
Okay, thank you.
Let me see here. I think I saw another question. Let's see. How do you blue highlight someone's name in a post? I'm not sure what do you mean by blue highlight? Richard, do you want to explain?
Yes. In numerous posts, you can identify somebody's name, like you're giving them credit for a communication. And when I see these, they show up as a bolded blue name designation or naming convention.
Right. So all you need to do is you put the @ symbol first, and then you find the person's name. And then when you do that, their name is, in my case, I don't see it blue. I mean, you may be seeing it blue when you get it, but when you're composing it, it comes up to be dark black for me. So you just start typing, and then you find the person you want to do it as, and the names pop up like that.
Okay, thank you.
All right. All right.
Do we want to take a look at somebody's profile? Do we want to take a look at somebody that's looking for a job? Because that's what we said we would do today.
Yeah, hold on. I'm just making sure there's no more questions. Let's see here. Yeah, Kevin says the person on Accenture was the first out of 600. Seems like she was light on education experience. What are your thoughts? Is this indicating with Accenture that you don't need a lot of experience?
Okay, good question on that, but you notice how I search that. Can we share the screen, Jeff, and I'll try and go back to my LinkedIn
Right,
presentation.
try again here. All right, go ahead. See if you can share your screen.
And let's scroll down. I'm going to do it this way, a little bit different.
Right now we see, oh yeah, right now we see your presentation. Yeah.
Well, let's take a look at how recruiters actually search. I think this is the one. Recruiters actually search for a number of different things. They look at keywords, they look at the job title, your past and present job titles and your headline, and that you're open to work, and those jobs where the job titles show up. But this is the actual screen. How do recruiters actually do a search? Again, this particular search had chief architect and these kinds of words in it. The screen that you see here is the input screen if a recruiter has LinkedIn Recruiter or LinkedIn Recruiter Lite. Kurt Vandemotter subscribes to that, and this is kind of where I got that idea. He spends $10,000 a year. I'm a cheapo, and I just do it on LinkedIn as we showed how to look for jobs. But these are the different areas that they can look in to refine it, taking down 750 million people down to 700 within 30 seconds. This is another screen. This is the actual recruiter search on LinkedIn. You notice this screen, and it runs to, I think, about 3 pages of data that they can check mark the things that they have. So when a recruiter does a search, they can look at these different kinds of things. They can search on their own total candidates on a result of a search and those kinds of information. When they actually run a search, this particular one was for us, for an accountant. They didn't select a location, so it defaults to the United States. There were 4,281,000 people. So as a recruiter, I wouldn't want a search like that. I'd much prefer a refined search. And this is another one, looking for a product manager in the Seattle area. They take somebody from San Francisco. They're looking for product marketing, product management. They were looking for companies like Microsoft, Amazon, and Fluke, which are headquartered in the Seattle area. They would also consider the University of Washington, which is also in the Seattle area. But you notice these things at the top, total number of candidates was 6,900. These are people who are following or have a company connection, 2,500 people, but only 462 in engaged your talent brand. You could follow a company a number of different ways, and that's a way that they will follow, that you can get found. So, but the number one, the reason that they're the number one here, if we clicked on Dana Norton, again, they have enough information that meet the criteria that the recruiter has selected, and that's why they show up as number one. Remember I mentioned job titles or skills. The more times that you have it, like product managers here, here's product management, and he's at Amazon and he's in the Seattle area. Those are all criteria that the recruiter is listed over here, and that's why they're showing up as number one, even though they don't have a lot of descriptive information in their profiles. Hopefully that answers the question about that, Jeff.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Do we want to take a look at either somebody's profile? Do we want to look for a job for somebody, or look for some contacts at a university? What would you like to do? Somebody want to go give us a university name, and we'll go search for alumni at a university.
Case Western.
Case Western. All right. Here, let me share my screen. And all right, so we're going to go to Case Western.
He's entered the basic search box on LinkedIn. Again, that's one way that you can do it. I'm going to show him another way, Jeff, when you've done that. There's Case Western in Cleveland.
Okay.
Okay.
So
And it turns out he has people. Now, if you're looking, the other things that he could do on that at Case Western, there's a tab that has jobs. And you could search for jobs at Case Western by doing it that way. You can look for alumni there.
So let's take a look at alumni, and then we'll go. Let's see if anybody lives in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Let's see here. Let's see. Show more. Let's see. Add. Dallas-Fort Worth. So there's 554 alumni living in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Then if you want to know where they work, here's where they're at. So if you
Those are the companies that they work for. That's a way to network into people.
Right. You want to network with somebody who works at University of Texas Arlington or Amazon Web Services, here's a great way to do that.
Very
you can click
cool.
More. Let's see here. You can find out what they do. So if you want to network with those people who are in IT or sales or finance.
And the next column over is what their major was in school.
Right.
So if you're a business school grad, you might want to talk to other business school grads from Case Western University, how you're connected. In this case, Jeff has 3 connections that he's directly connected to.
So
Good old
now,
Glenn Ruby. I haven't talked to Glenn for 10 years.
so now here you got to be very, very careful. you never want to connect with anybody down here using the white, these, well, message, this is going to send a message, but you want to connect with people. I'm already connected with this. Let me go back to second degree connections. Let's see here. Oops. Next. So if I clicked on second degree connections, scroll down. So here are second degree connections that I have. Never ever click on the white connect button, because when you do that, it will automatically send a generic invitation to connect with somebody. What you want to do is, if you see somebody that you'd like to connect with, click on their face and then look for the blue connect button, because a blue connect button will allow you to send a personal note to somebody. So just very, very important. Always send a personal note. Tell somebody why you should connect, because that'll make all the difference.
We mentioned Dennis O'Hagan as somebody we had. He had somebody he was connected to who was involved in the 9/11 flights, as a terrorist. And he got a couple of calls from the people, some of the acronym companies who were trying to track down terrorists. So again, some people who are lions, when you see lion after somebody's name, LinkedIn open network, they'll connect with anybody. And Jeff and I think, limit our connections to people that we know somewhere.
Right. Somebody give me a job title they'd like to look for, and we'll look up jobs. We'll go through the job tab. What would you like to look for? You can type it in, or you can unmute your mic and tell me.
Engineering manager.
Type it in and just click on that. Okay, now that's the search box, and that came up people because Jeff didn't specify. So he go ahead and click on jobs. Okay, when he clicks on jobs, notice that he hasn't selected anywhere. So the default setting is the United States. So he can go up to the top and select something, or if he uses all filters,
Yeah,
he can go in. He has Texas. He could type in. We have to type in, go back and eliminate some of the characters. Dallas. Notice as he starts to type in Dallas, there's a Dallas, Georgia, there's a Dallas, Oregon, or Dallas, Texas. He's choosing the Metroplex. Engineering manager, there are 1,500 jobs. But how many of those jobs, one of the things that he wants to do is take a look at the fresh job. Remember, I mentioned recruiters look at jobs, and sometimes you may have come online and found a job and gone back to it a couple of days later, and this job is no longer available. But of those that are available in the last week, there are 4,700 jobs. Let's go over to the all field or experience level. Let's say because you're a manager, managers are not going to be interns. So you're going to probably be mid-senior level or director level. Again, that because it's a manager, there are still 2,400 jobs. So the other filters that you could do, if you go to all filters, Jeff, and take a look at that and scroll down, he's selected. So, but let's say that the types of companies that you're looking for. These are some of the companies that are looking for the engineering manager. Okay, and the types of job are full-time. Most of the jobs on LinkedIn are going to be full-time, but occasionally in some fields, more contract work or consulting. So let's say, okay, because we've selected the Metroplex and you live in Plano, you may not want to go out to Grand Prairie or Grapevine.
We'll just do Plano and Richardson.
Okay,
and now we're down to 106, from 2,400 down to 106.
Now, again, you can hit the reset button if you like that and you say, okay, I want to do that search again. Don't have to type it in again.
Instead of hit reset, I like to just open it back up again. Want to pick a pay scale?
Let's say 100K. If you're making 150K, you may not want to go but much below that, or even 120.
So the 106 will take us down to 88. So now you can sort of go through and see what's there. Pizza Hut. Pizza.
Yeah, software engineering. Notice how some of these for engineering manager, they refined it by saying software. Okay, so that's going to limit it. If you're a hardware, there was a civil engineer in the list as well in there. But a lot of these jobs are software.
So, yeah. And if you really like what this is, you can set an alert. And what it will do is you will get a daily alert whenever new jobs are posted.
Well, it's either daily or weekly, depending upon when you get
How you
it,
have it set up. Yeah.
how you set it up. I was gonna show even though I'm not looking for a job, I'd still get a weekly listing for jobs for recruiter.
Yeah, I do also. All right, what else would we like to look at? You want to look at somebody's profile? I'll pop up real quickly. Let me just show you my profile real quick. A little bit different than Locke's. I actually put my email address, my phone number on my background photo. So that if somebody's looking for somebody and they saw me, manufacturing, production, Texas, productivity, employees reported. I mean, this is a word cloud about what it is I do.
I'll put in a plug for Jeff's book. If you haven't read it, it's one of the best short, easy read books about job hunting that I've ever read. And I've probably got 50 in the shelves behind me in my library.
Thank you.
Hey,
Thank you very much.
Jeff,
Yes.
sorry for interrupting, but so you did the word cloud. I'm curious if you apply via LinkedIn for a role, or if a recruiter is searching, let's say, by doing the word cloud in the back, is this causing like, for example, if somebody's looking for production, by having the word cloud in the back, is that just one more opportunity for that to show up more frequently for a recruiter?
No,
Or
this
does
is,
that not-
this is a graphic. This is a graphic, so it has no search. All it does is it looks nice when a recruiter looks at it, or when anybody looks at it. It has no search, no SEO help.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so my SEO help is down here that I put down, the couple of things that I do. And then when you get down to my profile, I list, here's things that I can do. And then I've got a lot of keywords down here at the very, very bottom that hopefully would show up. And then I also have keywords down in my experience, when you get down to the
One thing,
job.
back up a little bit, Jeff. I'm going to criticize you a little bit here.
All right.
Okay. Notice he's got it. I know it's his banner photo, but his contact information is down here. If you don't have it in your banner, it should be up to the top, the first line, because again, the first 3 lines are all that show up is when a recruiter or hiring manager looks at your profile to start.
Right. I put it down here just because
I know, because it's in your banner.
It pops into my profile, and if you open up my contact information, you're also going to find it there. I mean, I'm very open about putting it out there, so if anybody wants to reach out to me, they can.
The more times it's there, the easier it is for somebody to contact you. And that's what you're trying to do for that recruiter or hiring manager.
Right. All right. Would somebody else like us to look at their profile, or are we about done? We have time to do one more little thing. Going once, going twice.
Sure, you can look at mine, Bill Whitmore.
Okay.
M-O-R-E. There you go.
So now I have to pick which one of them. Which would you be? 1, 2.
Go under William instead. Sorry about that. That might be the same. Million people. Wow.
Is it what?
Second one down.
Project manager.
Yep.
No.
Click on full profile. Are you in Cleveland, Will?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Click on his profile and contact information. Because he's a secondary connection. This is all that recruiter or hiring manager is going to see if you don't have it in your contact information.
But it's
Don't
there.
have it in, don't have it in your about section in your background.
I'm sure it's there. I know I put it in. That's weird.
Well, hold on. If I connect with you, I may be able to see it.
Oh,
Because it's because he's a second degree connection. You're trying to reach the second and third degree connections by having the contact information so it's readily available.
yeah. Good.
All right, so I just sent you a message. So once you connect with me, so now let's see if you look in your about section, you do have it here.
Mhm.
But it's
So
at
I
the
know where to
bottom.
reach out to you at. Now, so my one question for Bill that I would tell you is that on your Zoom profile, your name is Bill Whitmore. On your LinkedIn thing, it's William. So how am I going to connect the two? You need to either in your LinkedIn profile, put William and maybe in quotes, put Bill, because that's what you want us to call you. You know, put the name that you want people to call you.
Make it easy for that hiring manager to contact you.
Right, right,
Thank you. That's great info.
right.
The last thing, Jeff,
The other
for
thing here is I would break this paragraph up into two different paragraphs. No more than 4 lines maximum. 3 lines is preferred because people are not going to read a novel. They scan the internet. So a couple paragraphs would be much better.
and you're
Excellent.
in your about section, Bill, you've got 2,000 characters to play with there, and you've used probably 200. So you have a lot more room that you can add stuff in.
Excellent. Thank you.
Right.
Let's go back up to his headline for just a second, Jeff. Notice all he has in his headline is project manager. List some other job titles. He's got project manager, he's got program manager, but you can list some other titles: engineering project manager, software project manager. Again, when we looked at jobs, we noticed that a lot of the jobs were software. If that's not you, or that is you, you want to be found.
And it would also be a good idea to, the very first word here, if you can, make it a action verb of some sort. You know, accomplished, experienced, something, because you want to draw somebody into wanting to read more.
You can also add industries that you've worked in if you want there.
Yeah, because this right here, this 200 characters or 220 characters, this is probably the #1 search field when recruiters start to put something in. This is like where the searches go first. And then from here, then they start going down to the about section and then down to all the experience section. So the more detail you can put here, or multiple titles, the better chance you can have an idea of doing that. Now, one other thing you want to do
Same
is,
thing for the open to work. You've got 5 job titles that you can put in there.
yeah, and you only list 2. You know, see if you can come up with a couple more. The other
Yep.
thing too is underneath your security set, underneath your settings, it says here, people also viewed. You don't want people to look at other people who do the same thing you are doing. Okay.
While you're job hunting, that's a recruiting list for recruiters,
Right.
people that they're going to contact, that are people
So-
like you.
In your settings, in your security settings, let's see here if I can get to it without open a new link here. So under security, let's see here, display. People also viewed. Okay, you want to turn that off so that it doesn't show. You go to my profile, you're not going to see other people just like me. I just want to promote me.
Got it.
Okay.
Jeff, before we run out of time, for anybody who wants my slide deck, it's Locke Alderson, all one word, at gmail.com. And I'll be happy to send you the slides.
Yeah, here's Locke's email address. And you can, oop,
Thanks, guys.
And if you want to link in with either Jeff or I, do identify that you saw us on the Zoom presentation, or we'll reject you.
right. All right, well, Locke, thank you very, very much. Next week, our speaker is going to be Ruth Lipsky. She'll talk about LinkedIn search engine optimization. So welcome to join us again next week. Like I said, every week, a lot of the speakers sort of all, change up their stuff every week, and they, change up their stuff every month. So please come back and join us next week. Ruth will be with us. All right, I need everybody to please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Jeff Morris, promise to always send a personal note whenever I send a LinkedIn request to connect with anyone. This includes when I use my cell phone or my computer. Very, very important. I will not connect with anybody who just sends that generic invitation. You've got to be very, very careful when you see that white connect button. As I said, what you want to do is you want to click on the person's face and look for the blue connect button, because the blue connect button will allow you to send a personal note. Career DFW and Career USA, we're putting on training 4 days a week. Hopefully you'll join us later in this week. Tomorrow, we have an actual practice interview you'll be able to watch. We have a candidate, I think, is applying as a product manager. I forget exactly what it was, but the person will be interviewed tomorrow live at 1 o'clock. You'll be able to watch somebody else be interviewed. You'll be able to see how the process works. This is just as informative as being interviewed yourself, because you'll see things that people will say and how that candidate will say things and the kind of questions they'll ask. It's a really interesting process. So if you haven't joined us before, please join us tomorrow at 1 o'clock. It'll only be on Zoom. So if you want to join us tomorrow, only on Zoom. We will not be available on Facebook. So, please join us, and it will not be recorded to view after the event. So it'll be just live only tomorrow. On Thursday, being the first Thursday of the month, we're going to talk all about effective resumes. It'll be a two-part session. The first part will be the best practices for an effective resume. The second part, if anybody'd like to volunteer to share their current resume, you can remove your header information, and we will take a look at your resume, and we'll be glad to do a little online review on it. This Friday at the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group meeting at 9:30 in the morning, 9:30 Central Time. We're going to do open forum. We'll talk about whatever it is you'd like to talk about, issues you've got, questions you've got about any subject, except religion and politics. But anything that's career related, you're welcome to join us, and we'll talk about that this Friday at 9:30. You're welcome to join the Career DFW and Career USA LinkedIn groups. You do not need to live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area to join the Career DFW group. We have over 13,500 members. It's a great way to expand your connections. In fact, I think we're really pretty close to 13,600 members. We'll probably hit that in the next week or two. So if you'd like to join, you're welcome to do so. This session has been recorded. It is going to be on the Career DFW Facebook page and the Career USA YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook, if you will. Subscribe to our Career USA YouTube channel. We'd really appreciate it. On the Career USA YouTube channel, click on playlist, and then down below, find underneath LinkedIn, click on view full playlist, and then you'll see a list of the most current ones should be on top. You can go back and watch. It'll take LinkedIn a couple hours, or take YouTube a couple hours to get this uploaded and for you to be able to view it, but it will be available later this afternoon. If you're not receiving emails about our workshops and you'd like to join the Career USA mailing list, you're welcome to do so. You'll never be spammed, but what you will get on a daily basis is the topic of the day, the title of the day, and most importantly, the Zoom link of the day. That way you can just open up the email and join via the Zoom link every day. Just send an email to Career USA, the + subscribe at groups.io, and we'll get you on the list. Career DFW, we're a 501c3 nonprofit organization. All of our speakers, Locke and all the other LinkedIn speakers, all of our speakers are all volunteer. I'm a volunteer. Everything I've done over the last 13 years has just been here to help you land your next great opportunity. Please consider making a donation when you get your next job. So thank you very much for joining us today. Locke, thank you very much for your time. Everybody else, hopefully we'll see you later in the week.